Ever lose something so small, you start to think maybe it just blinked out of existence?
Happens to the best of us.
Well, get ready to dive into a world that's practically microscopic, but with potential you absolutely can't ignore. Bluetooth beacons.
Beacons. Those have been around for ages, haven't they?
True. But we're talking next-gen stuff here.
Yeah.
Specifically, the IN100 NanoBeacon. This thing's so small.
How small are we talking?
Seriously, it could hitch a ride on a dust bunny and you wouldn't even notice. But size isn't everything, right? It's what this tiny chip can do.
All right, I'm intrigued. What's so special about this IN 100?
Imagine setting up a Bluetooth device, but without all the hassle. No more wrestling with code, no more spending hours just to get a simple connection. The IN100 is all about no-code Bluetooth.
No code! So even I could set one up. And I'm hopeless with that stuff.
Exactly. The company behind it, InPlay, they knew that traditional Bluetooth development was a roadblock for so many people. So they engineered the IN100 to be simple, accessible, even if you don't know the first thing about coding.
Clever. But my engineering brain's already jumping ahead here. What's the catch? Something this small, this easy to use. Gotta be some trade-off, right?
That's where it gets really interesting. We're talking about incredibly low power consumption, like seriously low.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Low power means...
Longer battery life, of course.
Yeah.
But also, it opens up a whole world of possibilities for applications where you couldn't even consider Bluetooth before.
Like what? Give me an example.
Think about sensors in remote locations, monitoring everything from air quality to soil conditions. Or imagine tiny wearable medical devices that can track vital signs in real time. This tech could revolutionize how we collect and use data.
All right, I'm officially on board. Tell me more about how this thing actually works. What's going on under the hood?
That's what we're diving into next. Get ready for some seriously impressive tech specs. All right, let's get down to the nuts and bolts of this tech. We're talking about a Bluetooth chip, the IN100, and when I say tiny, I mean seriously tiny.
Smaller than a breadcrumb.
Even smaller. Think more like the head of a pin. We're talking 1.1 millimeters by 2 millimeters. That's it.
No way, seriously. And that's the whole shebang, the antenna, the Bluetooth radio, everything.
You got it. It's a complete Bluetooth system all packed onto a chip that's practically microscopic.
Okay, color me impressed. But now I'm even more curious about the power consumption. You can't pack that much functionality into something that small without some serious energy efficiency, right?
You're absolutely right. And this is where the IN100 really shines. Ready for this? It runs on a single 1.5-volt battery, the kind you'd find in a watch.
Wait, hold on. A single watch battery. That's it. Most of the Bluetooth gadgets I use eat batteries for breakfast.
I know, right? But not this little guy.
Mm-hmm.
The IN100 is incredibly power efficient, which means it can run for ages on a tiny power source.
That opens up some major possibilities. We're talking about applications where you need things to run for months, even years, without changing batteries.
Exactly. Things like remote sensors, wearable medical devices,
Mm-hmm.
even those smart labels we were talking about earlier.
It's like this tiny chip is suddenly making all sorts of futuristic applications actually feasible.
Absolutely. And it gets even better. Remember how we talked about the IN100 being simple to use? Well, it turns out it's also surprisingly simple in terms of its design.
Simple how?
Check this out. The IN100 only needs one crystal and two capacitors to function. That's it.
Get out of here. Seriously. Most Bluetooth chips need a whole bunch of external components just to get going.
Not this one. InPlay really stripped it down to the essentials. And get this, you don't even need any external RF mashing components.
Colin, for those of us who don't speak fluent engineer, what does that even mean?
Basically, it means no more fiddling around trying to tune the Bluetooth signal. The IN100 just works right out of the box.
That's incredible. They've managed to make a Bluetooth chip that's tiny, power efficient, and ridiculously easy to use.
You got it. InPlay wasn't kidding when they said they wanted to make Bluetooth accessible to everyone. They've basically removed all the barriers to entry.
Okay, I'm sold.
Yeah.
But let's talk about what we can actually do with this thing. What kind of real-world magic are we talking about here?
Okay, so we've geeked out over the tech specs, but let's bring this back down to earth. We've got this tiny, power-sipping, ridiculously easy-to-use Bluetooth chip. What can we actually do with it?
This is where it gets really exciting. Remember those smart labels we touched on earlier? That's just the tip of the iceberg.
Smart labels, right. So we're talking about sticking these things on what exactly?
Pretty much anything you can imagine. Inventory in a warehouse, equipment in a hospital, even individual products on a store shelf.
Okay, so I stick a smart label on a box of, let's say, sneakers. Then what?
That box of sneakers is now part of the Internet of Things. You can track it in real time as it moves from the factory to the warehouse onto a truck all the way to the customer's doorstep.
No more lost shipments, no more guessing games about where things are in the supply chain. I like it.
Exactly. And because the IN 100 is so energy efficient, those smart labels could last for years on a single tiny battery, beaming out location data the whole time.
That's a game changer for logistics and supply chain management. But what about other applications? We touched on medical devices earlier. What's the potential there?
Huge potential. Think about tiny wearable sensors that can track vital signs like heart rate, blood pressure, even glucose levels. The IN 100 is so small and energy efficient, it's perfect for these kinds of applications.
So we're talking about continuous health monitoring, personalized medicine, maybe even early warning systems for potential health problems.
You got it. And because the IN 100 can handle extreme temperatures, it opens up even more possibilities. Imagine sensors in harsh environments like monitoring equipment in a factory or tracking shipments in refrigerated trucks.
It's incredible to think that this one tiny chip could have such a huge impact on so many different industries.
Absolutely. InPlay isn't just making a Bluetooth chip, they're building the foundation for a future where everything is connected and intelligent. And their partnership with NXP Semiconductors tells me they're serious about making that vision a reality.
Connection and intelligence anywhere. That's a bold vision.
It is, but I think it's within reach, and the IN 100 is a major step in that direction.
So for our listeners who might be thinking, okay, that's cool and all, but what does this mean for me? What's the takeaway here?
The takeaway is that the world is about to get a whole lot smarter, and this tiny chip is going to play a big part in making that happen. We're talking about a future with less waste, more efficiency, and a level of connectivity we've never seen before.
A future where we can track anything, monitor anything, and connect anything, all thanks to the power of Bluetooth.
Exactly. It's a pretty exciting time to be following the world of tech.
It certainly is. And on that note, we're going to wrap things up. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of nanobeacons. It's clear that the IN 100 has the potential to revolutionize how we connect and interact with the world around us. Until next time, keep exploring, keep innovating, and keep asking, what if?